Hey guys, what's up? My name's Ines. I write kissing books and I also wrote Page Turner Planning, and I'm so excited to share it with you guys through this Kickstarter. I've been getting a lot of questions, and the main question that I get over and over again is, will I be able to buy this on Amazon? And the short answer is no, you're not going to be able to buy this on Amazon, at least definitely not anytime soon. And the reason is because it's not just a book, it's a wire-bound planner that Amazon can't produce, and it's also a course. And then when I answer those questions, then I get, well, what's the difference? And that's what I want to talk to you about today. So we're in my vellum because I don't have the printed book in hand yet because I keep making last minute changes. But we're in my vellum file, and you will see first, you'll see the dedication, which is for my friend Sarah. Yes, Sarah Cannon. And when I showed her this, I got her to cry. It was awesome. Like so many of us, Sarah really inspired so many authors on their productivity journey, and she absolutely inspired me. And then we linked arms, and we just never let go. Then you'll see in the printed book or the ebook how to use this book. This is a journey that is broken into 52 weeks and divided over 4 quarters with 13 weeks each and every quarter. Inside the book, ebook or print book, you're going to find an intro reflection, some writing guidance, and then branding, business, or a marketing strategy over each week. The reflection and all of the philosophizing and hopefully inspirational words that I give you are not going to be in the journal, because the journal is really just for action. But the book, I can talk to you a bit more. I can explain my whys. I'm really big on whys because sometimes I do things and people will want to follow what I did. And I'll ask, well, why are you doing that? And they'll say, because you did it. And I hate that so much. I always tell you why, because my why might be show you that you don't need to do what I'm doing. So I get a lot of expository space in the book. You also are going to have a weekly practice, which is what you'll find in the journal. We'll get to that in just a second. Actually, we'll get to that in just a second. I start with a reflection, having you look back at how your year was. I also am very big on setting goals. Why? Because I am very rewards-based person. I like to celebrate my accomplishments. But in order to know that I've accomplished something, I first need to set up what the goal is so that I know when I have achieved it. So I encourage you to set up SMART goals, and I think that there are different types of goals. There's money goals, there are emotional goals, and these are really important. And I think you need to know which type of goal you have, and so that you know when you achieve it. Then we start the quarterly prep. I break down what's ahead because I'm one of those people that believes you should tell people what you're going to tell them, and then tell them what you told them. So this is me telling you what I'm going to tell you. And then we get into it. So, like I said, in the book, both the ebook and the print, which are identical, I philosophize. I hopefully get you really inspired to take on the week with an introduction. And then I'm able to talk a bit more about whatever craft exercise I'm giving you for the week. In the book, the ebook and the print book, you will start with a branding section, because I think it's really important to define who you are in this business, because there's so many of us and readers are voracious, but they want to make sure that you are who they want to consume. So I think branding yourself is really important. It goes on like that. We get all the way down to week 13, where there comes time for a reflection, because I truly believe that you have to take a look at what you did before you start to do something different. Because what if it didn't work? Or what if you're so focused on something else, but that thing worked really well, but the other thing, if you just tweak it a little bit, it'll make what your work is doing even better. I can word. So I encourage you to take time for reflection. And then we go into quarter 2 and do it all over again. Then we'll go into quarter 3 and do it all over again. And then finally, we'll get ourselves down into quarter 4. So before we leave the ebook or print book, I just want to reiterate that my strengths, I'm number 1 discipline, and I'm number 2 achiever. And I understand it took Becca Syme saying this to me more than once, that not everybody is like me. Not everybody is overpowered with executing strengths. But this is my playbook. I'm showing you exactly what I do, quarter in, quarter out, year in, year out. You can take from it what you want. You can leave at the door what you don't. And I'm only charging you $10 for the ebook and $20 for the print book to do it. Have at it and steal some of my discipline achiever. Actually, don't steal it. I'm handing it off to you. Now let's go into the planner, which is what I am so excited about. So I'm showing you the planner in Canva just because that's easier for me to flip through really, really fast and get to where I want to get to. I can't believe that I forgot to mention the size of the planner. It is my favorite size of planner, which is A4, which is about 5.8 inches by 8.27, I think are the measurements for those of us that need it. So it's not a regular size sheet of paper. For me, that's just too big. I like something a little bit more compact. And so that's what you guys are going to get. I am, as you see, this is in Canva, so I can make it a PDF, so I can make it downloadable and printable, and I can change the sizes. If there are those of us that want it to be printed on regular paper, I will make that happen. And then I have a friend who is going to help me make it fillable, because if you remember back in the PDF days, you had to go in and make a box for each thing you want to fill in, and she says she has an easier way, so I'm waiting on that. But what I want to show you with the planner is that you're going to get that same beginning how to. You're going to get the same about setting your goals, because again, I think that is so important. But what you're not going to get is you're not going to get the intro reflection that you got into the book and me philosophizing and trying to inspire you. You're not going to get that abundance of prose with me talking about the writing exercise. Instead, I'm going to skip over the month for just a second. I'll come back to that. But instead, what you're going to get is you're going to get action items. So instead of me saying the way that you're going to know your pace or own your process is you're going to, and just talking paragraphs and paragraphs about it, I say do this. Do this step one, do this step two. I talk about marketing. Do this step one, do this step two. So the planner is full of action. There's reflection there, and there's a place for you to plan in there. And that is very specifically how I designed it, because I want you to fall directly into action. Well, Ines, do I need the book, ebook, or print book and the planner? No, you don't have to have them both. You can have one or the other. I do think that they work beautifully together, and there is a tier where you get the planner as well as the print book together, and that tier is $35. I do think that's best, but you do not have to have both. I also want to point out to you that the planner starts in December 2025. I plan to have these planners to you in November of 2025. Apologies about putting November 2026, but if you can see how many times I had to write 2026 in this journal, you will understand why 2026 was on my mind when I actually launched the Kickstarter. So, in addition to the weekly plan, you also have a monthly plan, which looks very similar to how I plan. I actually draw this out in my bullet journal every week, every month, and every week, just because it's a relaxing activity for me. The pipeline are the books that I'm working on. So for October, I'm going to be revising my first epistolary novel. And I'm also working on drafting a novel for my new pen name. So I would put those two titles up there under pipeline. For promo, any promo that I'm doing, I have 2 releases in October. So if I'm doing swaps, if I'm doing newsletters, if I'm doing paid promo, if I'm doing paid ads, I would put that information here under promo, and then the same with newsletter. I send weekly, so I would just jot down what content I'm going to put. Maybe it's going to be a personal newsletter that week. Maybe it's going to be a sales newsletter that week. Maybe I'm going to talk about the writing process that week. So I put all that information on my monthly calendar so that I can see it at a glance and I know when it's going to happen. So you have a two-page spread month. Then you'll have your focus for each week. Again, the planner starts in December of 2025. You'll have your tasks to do, and then you'll have a place to record it. I tried to give you 3 different shades of gray so that you can, if you're someone like me that likes to divide up your tasks, either you're dividing up your day between morning, afternoon, and evening, or maybe sometimes I divide up my tasks by my pen names and I have 3. I try to give you some space to do that. Underneath the place where you see notes, you'll see what's called a habit tracker, where you see the abbreviations for the days of the week and then a little box underneath. That's for, I love a habit tracker because I love to build habits. So maybe I'm trying to sprint for 25 minutes each day. And every time I accomplish that, I could check it off. Really, what I'm my habit tracker right now is post to TikTok every day. And that's what I'm trying that's a habit that I am actively tracking right now. But that's the planner. You get 52 weeks after we get through the month of December. You are going to start with January 2026, and then you're going to get 52 weeks of the entire year of 2026 with a different focus. Make sense? Awesome. The last thing that I want to show you is the course. So, before I talk to you about the course, I want to remind you that if you do the course on Kickstarter, which is at $297, it includes the ebook, the digital planner that you can download and print yourself, or you will be able to fill out online, like if you have a stylus or if you can want to type in. It'll also include a webinar that we're going to have to plan your 2026, and it includes the course. So inside, and just as I showed you with the ebook has more expository stuff, me waxing on and off about the writing life, which the journal does not have. But the journal has the monthly and weekly plan that the book does not have. Well, the course, because I had even more space to do even more. Let's come to week 1 in the course. In week 1, I get to wax on. That's the same waxing on that I did in the book that you don't see in the journal. This is the same discussion about writing structure that I did in the book that you won't see in the journal. But I get to add video in here. So I sometimes would do short videos. Remember that this comes from a mastermind that I have been running for 2 years. And so very often someone would ask me in the mastermind, "Well, I don't understand what you're talking about, Ines. Can you show me?" And this is where I would come in and show them if they had a question. I made more worksheets because I love a worksheet. So I put more worksheets in here. If people ask, I was able to put places for resources in here that are not in the book and they're not in the journal. And again, anytime someone asks something that I could actually sit down and show them, I either made a video about it or I gave them examples from my own work so that they can see this is how I set up my Scrivener document someone was asking about before I start writing my book. I also want to show you that inside the course, I've been running that mastermind for 2 years, and I was trying to just take year 1 and make that into page turner planning, but there was so much in there that I in the course, in the original mastermind course that I just left out. And inside this course, because I was basically just copying from my 2-year long mastermind, I was able to bring some stuff over here. So in the planner and in the book, you're just going to have a branding section to start with. But inside the course, you're also going to have an additional marketing section inside quarter 1 to start with as well. Because I was able to someone asked me, "Well, I don't understand how you do your backlist marketing." So I sat down and I wrote it out and gave them instructions and I made worksheets, of course. And I put that I left that really inside the course. So there's additional stuff in the course. So you're going to get different things in the book than you're going to get in the journal, than you're going to get in the course. And you just need to decide what is your best learning style. Maybe you never finish a course. If you never finish a course, please don't buy the course because I am that teacher that goes in periodically and I look and I see, okay, has everyone finished the course yet? And then when I see that you only have 10%, I start to cry. I don't really cry, but I do feel sad for a second. If you're someone that has never done a journal before, I would hope that you would give this journal a try because it's really focused on authors and the author business, not just the writing craft, but the branding, the marketing, the way that you set up your business. And I think that it could help. And the book, of course, if you're someone that likes to read the book, that'd be great. I'm not going to do an audiobook because I'm just not. I don't think that's helpful to listen to a chapter a week. So I decided not to do the audiobook. But that, guys, is all the differences that you will find in the Page Turner Planning Kickstarter. And wow, it is we're going into day 3 and this is where we are and I am just flabbergasted. I cannot thank you guys enough for your support of me. For those of you that have been with me, that have seen me teach a workshop, or that has been a part of my course, or I've met face to face, thank you. I know you trust me. For those that a friend has brought you here, thank you for giving me a chance. Please know I have way too many degrees. My first degree is in communications with a concentration in television production. I used to be a screenwriter and a producer, and then I decided to write books. Before I switched over to writing books, though, because I worked a lot in documentary television and children's television, I decided to go back to school and I got 2 degrees in education because I wanted to explain information more. So I do know how to teach. I do know how to plan a lesson. I do know how to dole out information for different learning styles. So please know that you're in good hands with me. I really think about the things that I'm going to teach. I really think about the different learning styles that there are and how to get to you. You know how Oprah used to talk about that aha moment? That's my favorite part of being in a classroom or being in front of people who want to learn, is when I see that aha moment, and I will talk at you until I see it. I'm hoping that you see a light in this project, and once you get it in your hands, that you have a year's worth of aha moments. I am cheering for you. I'm thinking about you. I'm thinking about how to make your year better, how to make us all succeed, because I'm a reader too, and I see no competition on shelves. I just see readers just looking for really good stories to help them to escape, to help them to learn, to help them to be better. And that's our job. I take it seriously. Thank you again so much for your support, and I can't wait to chat at you soon. Bye.